A very good morning to you. Welcome back from the business desk. It's time for the agenda on Good Morning Uganda. And on the agenda today, as Robert rightfully said, we're looking at the 12th Parliament expectations and priorities. What are yours? Yeah? 0709-602-592. Send a WhatsApp message and be part of the conversation. Now, 372 MPs representing the NRM party, 68 independent MPs, 48 NUP MPs, 12 UPC MPs, 9 FDC MPs, 6 DP MPs, 2 PFF MPs, and 1 ANT MP. All of these representing in the 12th Parliament. And the 12th Parliament had its first sitting yesterday. And over the years, Uganda has experienced so far the full experience of 11 parliaments. And each has definitely come through with its own shape of Uganda, shaped Uganda differently. For example, from the 1967 Republican Constitution to the restoration of the multi-party politics in 2005, to the removal of presidential term limits, to the removal of the presidential age limits, to the protection of the sovereignty bill, and until yesterday, to the voting and electing of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the 12th Parliament. What are the expectations? What are the priorities? I'm having this conversation with Honorable Bicham David Okwere MP, Bukedea County, to have this conversation with us in studio. Yours is to engage 0709-602-592. Send a WhatsApp message and be part of the conversation. Honorable, first and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's another great privilege to be with you again this morning.
Indeed.
And of course, I want still once again to extend my appreciation to you for inviting me to talk about the 12th Parliament.
Right. I
also want to extend my appreciation to the management of UBC and to the government for the good work that they have done. So, of course, in the same spirit, I want to extend my deep, sincere appreciation to our newly elected Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, the Honorable both and TT, that we elected yesterday.
Right.
And of course, in line with that, the work has started.
Indeed.
And since the work has started, we must deliver to the expectations of the citizens.
Therein, allow me ask, what are the top 3 priorities that this Parliament is looking at now that work has started?
You know, although we're looking at the top 3 priorities, but of course, let me bring out more that the public is actually trying to look at.
All right.
Number one, the public actually out there is expecting a big debate on how we should tackle issues concerning about the high cost of living. Because currently in Uganda, of course, we are having quite a number of many things where prices keep rising every day. Today in the morning, like now, if you are in these urban centers, people who are moving with vehicles, you know, the prices of fuel keep increasing from one morning to another. And of course, that affects a chain of many things. Transport in terms of movement of individuals to workplaces, and then also there's transport in terms of movement of goods.
Even the fares.
Yes, even the fares and all those kind of things. So transport is quite key. But even that, of course, brings in another component when you're transporting other commodities like food, which may be moving, let's say, from upcountry, either Gulu or Soroti or Mbarara and whatever, and they are moving towards Kampala. But because of the high cost of fuel, that also affects the prices of the food commodities. So that definitely comes now to enter into a deeper pocket of an individual.
True.
And that, of course, entering into a deeper pocket of an individual, it's not something that a person had expected. Sometimes, if Uganda is a food basket, where we expected to have a lot of food, and actually we have a lot of food, and then the cost price of food keeps also increasing. That affects the livelihoods of different people. And also, of course, if it affects the difference of the livelihood of different people, it also affects the living standard and also the thinking and many more other things. These are things we need to address categorically, that if we as the 12th Parliament are to tackle out, we must address the people-centered demand. The other issue, of course, which I do not want to leave behind, that the public has always talked much, are issues concerning about corruption. Because corruption, of course, is something which has been quite pertinent. People have talked about it on the 11th Parliament, but although we talk about corruption, we have not, or we have failed to understand what is the cause of corruption. Because even if we sing about corruption today, tomorrow, last year, and we make how many songs out of it, it's like if you're having a disease and you keep giving Panadol, which is a painkiller, you need to give the real treatment and a full dose to tackle corruption to its totality, to the end. And most times, of course, it has become a song of the day when people talk about corruption, but we have not gotten what is the solution and what is the cause of corruption. Because corruption is on two folds. There is corruption by the local person in terms of issues that we may be looking at by either government or ourselves, failing to come up with the failed things of not providing what they call a minimum wage. Because let's give an example. If you are an individual, you are earning like about 200,000 or 300,000. I've seen in most times in other areas where even a degree holder in other places, because people have failed maybe to take the present message of creating jobs, and then you end up being employed somewhere and you're earning 300,000.
True.
So if you're earning about 300,000, 400,000, you're staying or living in a house of around 200 or 300, or sometimes you even find a house that you're going to live worth about the amount of salary that you're earning. If that is the house, then where are you going to get money?
To eat.
To eat and transporting yourself and medical bills. So that gap alone will now begin bringing not an evil mind, but you'll now begin thinking that what can I do to make sure that I earn more money which will help me meet my expectation. So that will now lead you to begin thinking otherwise, that let me go to an office and you begin tapping from other things on ways of being lured into corrupt ways. The other thing, of course, we're also trying to look at issues concerning about the usual things that the living standard. Sometimes we have what they call undue influence. You're seeing your friends are driving, and you also begin to think that even if you're also earning like around 200 or 300, you also want to drive like others.
Right.
So you're adding another problem to another. We don't want to live according to our own standards. So we need now, therefore, to focus ourselves to look into that. How do we address the root cause of corruption? It is key.
Indeed, and when you say looking at addressing the root cause of corruption, there is a term called systematic corruption.
Yes.
Where you realize that this disease is within the institutions of government.
That's true.
And sometimes it's even weaved within the policies of government. How exactly do you think the 12th Parliament is looking for to tackle that problem?
First and foremost, you know, like the way I have always shared with many people, that before you tackle a problem, we need to focus ourselves into a research-based parliament.
Right.
Now, to do a research, when we're discussing about corruption, we now need to find out how do we address these other key issues of corruption and find an adequate solution to it. But of course, like the way you have asked, that as Parliament alone, we may not be able to address the issue about corruption as Parliament, as an institution. But we need a collective effort where we now call upon everyone who is a key player in government. Number one, we have Parliament as an institution, we have the executive, and we have the judiciary. All these three sectors must come with one commanding voice, that if we're getting rid of corruption, then this must follow suit also with the executive and the judiciary. But if one institution is trying to fight corruption and then another institution is so soft on it or is promoting it even more, then it becomes a challenge. The other factor, of course, which needs also to bring out to that are the media people, like now you in the media sector. We now need to get down and promote this message, to bring it out to the public, that issues concerning about corruption is not attainable.
Right.
But of course, above all, the main thing that we're going to address is to see that the legislation that we are having on issues related to corruption must be adequately addressed and handled properly, where amendments are needed so that it brings out or it washes out that factor of corruption, then that may be, will have to be done by all means.
Right, and of course when we come back to the collective effort, usually it also means that there should be a hand of steel.
Yes.
And a hand of steel comes as far as from bits as simple as monitoring.
That's true.
Serious monitoring, and this is in the hands of the August House.
Yes.
That should be able to monitor the executive. Nothing can be done by the executive, obviously, without Parliament having a know of it, of having monitored it, or even having accepted it. How do we see the 12th Parliament operating independently? Now, we'll look at the Parliament in the past, especially during the turbulent times of Uganda. Many political analysts will tell you that Parliament at that time lacked sufficient institutional independence. But over the years, if you still sit down and listen to political analysts here and there, they'll still point out the fact that in the recent years, Parliament, in one way or the other, its independence has dwindled. So how do we see the 12th Parliament change the narrative, correct it to Ugandans that actually this institution is independent and it will operate independently with every action therein on that August
I think
floor?
In line with that, history will judge us right or correct. You know, in every year that you wake up, the world keeps revolving.
Right.
In olden days, I think in 1962, and then when you could come into the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, when you look into the Hansards and all that, it can actually tell you that, you know, when you could discuss about Parliament had quality debates.
Yes. And
of course, those debates were actually focused on one, it was more of research. Research-based information. So you could actually find that the debate was quite quantitative. But like the way I said, that it may be different from the other revolving years, because currently at the moment, if you look at the statistics of the Ugandan population by then and as of now, it's not the same. Now the trend is changing because the population keeps growing, the demands keep changing, and the demands keep increasing from what was there before. Now, the attention, therefore, is that even in terms of representation, by then, I think we used to have little number of districts, which were by then constituted in terms of constituencies. And if I can give an example, I think by the olden days, like Kampala itself was part of Wakiso, was part of Mpigi and other surrounding areas, but which is now called under the metropolitan area. Now that, by that other olden time, of course, required maybe 1 or 2 legislators who could represent. But the issue is, with such a big area, are you able to engage with your representative or your MP in such a big area. Now, as of now, it has changed because the dimensions have actually brought it down that let's put it in constituencies, and constituencies are divided into, a district may even be divided into 2 or 3 different constituencies. That alone is to allow the voters to have a feel of their common leader who is a member of parliament. They should engage with him freely, they should access him more freely, and the number of people that is representing would actually also be minimal. By then, of course, I think it was even breaking some people down, because if you had to tour the whole constituency, then you would not even complete in your 5 years when you're in parliament.
Right.
But as of now, I can tour my constituency. Maybe in about 2 or 3 days, I would have combed the whole area and had a feel of the local people. So as of now, the issue is that I think government has tried to make people feel that a member of parliament is actually more closer to its people that elected him or her at a more nearer level, so that if there is even any challenge which they want to bring out to a member of parliament, it's very easy for them to access compared to those other days. But of course, by then, like when we talked about quality, by then the people who were there in the 1960s and 70s, there were very few who were being brought to parliament compared to the current numbers. Because at that other time, because people were maybe about 100 or 70 something people, they had access and enough time to have a proper debate. And even by the time when you're allowed to appear in the floor of parliament, then you'd also be given maybe more than 30 minutes to talk. But now it's different with about 15 or 10 or 5 minutes when you're supposed to present your issues. Now, that's why I was actually trying to bring it out, saying that the current demand of the population growth is actually bringing an effect to us, which would now also bring another challenge to us, that we need to amend some things. If the population is growing, then even the population of leaders must also grow. Apart from the population also of leaders growing, the quality of debate must also change. That it changes from the usual talking in the microphone in the floor of parliament, and we now tackle real issues, what is affecting the community. Now, when we're talking about real issues affecting the community, there are sometimes programs which government has. And like yesterday, when we were having our first sitting, and the president told us that he has already sent about 800 million to each and every sub-county or parish under these programs which government has rolled out of a Myoga and the PDM. When you talk about 800 million, and it's supposed to benefit each and every household, the issue now, of course, which a member of parliament must focus himself, is to get the statistics correct from the responsible ministries and the institutions. And then he analyzes that by saying, what is the population of the people in that particular area? And after knowing the population, he must also analyze to know that how many people have benefited or have gotten what government has sent. He needs to get down to the ground to break down those figures and to follow it up door to door. There is no way you as a member of parliament would be saying you're representing people and you're not able to get those statistics as of now. And yet during campaigns, we are moving, looking for votes door to door. If you can do it during campaigns,
why not now?
Why not now?
Interesting perspective there. Yes. But just to take you a bit back to the growing number in regards to population, thus the growing number of leaders or MPs, how would you justify this? Because to many Ugandans, the number of MPs is dire. They are not necessary. they are not needed on that August floor. Many Ugandans feel that there is strategy or many strategies that could be laid to have a reduced number of MPs, yet with effective delivery and service delivery. And of course, for many Ugandans, the fact that we have all these MPs, these are taxes at the end of the day. For many Ugandans, when you bring it to ordinary level, that the fact that this Ugandan has to pay as you earn, and their member of parliament does not have pay as you earn on their pay slip, it just doesn't make sense. Services are not delivered, and yet to any ordinary Ugandan, service delivery is the issue. I want to find that medicine in the hospital. I want to be able to take my child to school, even if it's UPE or USE, but I want to feel the quality of it as it was sold to me as an idea. What exactly do you think the 12th Parliament can justify with when it comes to these inequalities of huge numbers, less service delivery, taxpayers' money is being wasted left, right and center? What do you think the 12th Parliament can change?
I don't see the taxpayers' money being wasted, but like the way I told you that the demand of the world keeps revolving.
Right.
Of course, I know sometimes you try to look into issues of which area needs to be represented. Like the way I had actually, I think, tried to discuss in other shows, that the president, in his own wisdom of being a father in the country, if people come up with an idea and he sees that it's good, he gives you what you want, provided it satisfies not people's interest or an individual interest, but it satisfies the interest of a community. Now, in Parliament now, of course, I know we are having almost like around three or four different types of representations. We have directly elected members of Parliament, that's us of the constituencies. And then now we have women
members of Parliament.
Women members of Parliament. Now, and then out of that, we have representation from the army, we have the youth, we have those ones with disabilities, and then we have those ones with the elders. If the community feels that they don't need all that as it may need, like the way as it stands, then it should be an initiative from the community. They are the ones who okayed, you understand, that we need to be represented here. Because even as of now, I think even some people still feel that they are being left out. And yet still, the ones who are there, people are crying that the number is big. Sometimes, of course, like now when we say that if we now feel that we need to reduce the number, that means you're trying to challenge to say that special interest groups must be cut off. Special interest groups, these are the ones we talk of the army, these are the ones we talk of the youth, these are the ones we talk of the elderly, these are the ones we talk of when we talk about, we have talked about the elderly, we have talked about the youth, we have talked about the army, and then we have talked about
women representatives.
The women representatives. If we feel that we remove that away, you will actually find that the community itself will actually begin complaining again, saying that, you know, we don't feel to be represented. And
actually that makes a lot of sense. Yes. But how do you think this can be translated to it making real sense in service delivery? Now, all of that can happen, but the community wants to just see service delivery.
That is where we now try to look into ourselves,
right,
and focus our attention. That the real feel from the community needs to begin as of now. If I'm representing the interest of the youth, then I must adequately make sure that I address issues of youth and be in touch and lobby for them and be close to them at all times. Because currently at the moment, you actually find that a member of parliament is actually over-shouldering everything. It's like government. He wakes up in the morning hours, he receives calls about burials, he receives calls about weddings, he receives calls about seminars, he receives calls about fundraising in churches, and these are things which would have been addressed to maybe a head of state or to government as itself. But instead, the member of parliament has become government in his own constituency. So sometimes there are demands which come from the population.
Right.
Puts a member of parliament into unexpected demand or a fix that how can I address this? Not until we see that we work hand to hand, close with government,
right,
with most of those other programs which have been established, we'll try to soften out those other challenges which are there.
Indeed, it's the 12th Parliament. It commenced yesterday. Yesterday was the first sitting. We're looking at expectations and priorities. What are yours? What do you expect? What are you looking forward to when it comes to the 12th Parliament, the one that you actually voted into that August House? Be part of the conversation. 0709602592. I'm having it with Honorable Bicham David Okwere, the MP of Bukedea County. And allow me, Honorable, get into some of the views of our viewer as you speak into each. The first one says, we expect Parliament to take the President's message of Chisanja Hakuna corruption and no sleep. Let them come back and monitor the impact of the money they are sending to the community. This is Ikiriza Zefania Atwochi, a journalist and a PLU publicist, Bulisa District. And good morning, Madam. Thank you for the program. I'm Kagumu Noah from Mubende listening. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Thank you so much. The Parliament usually passes bills according to their interests, like the Sovereignty Bill, which was opposed by most of the citizens, but ended up being passed anyways. Let the MPs always consult their people and go with their opinions. This is James T. in Dokolo. Thank you, Julie, for the program, and Honorable in the studio. It's Isaac Wanzala in West Nile. For whatever was said by the newly elected Speaker Jacob Oboth is hard. We wish it's done the way he said it, and also he should follow up the matters raised in Parliament. Take, for example, that 25% salary increment of police constables. That matter was incomplete, handled by the 11th Parliament, and we can't tell where it ended. It ended from, even after tasking the minister to come up with the report concerning about the issue. Good morning, Julie and Honorable David. This is Phillips from Karamoja. You ask, what are the expectations? Well, number one, the new speaker will do two important things unless otherwise. Number one, amend the constitution to the president amend the constitution to the president expected by MPs as electoral college. And the second part, which is B, amend the term of president and MPs from 5 years to 7 years. Here, he should have pleased the authority well. Number two, corruption may not end or reduced, but instead will escalate because the recruitment process in Uganda is very corrupt, in which the meritocracy has been alienated completely. The system favors the corrupt to be employed, and the status quo continues. And for now, finally, good morning, UBC broadcast. The 12th Parliament is expected to pass the Bill of Minimum Wage to control corruption, because even companies give low salaries, and there's a high cost of living leading to low standards of living, which leads to poverty. This is Owen in Mbale. Allow me first pause at that and allow Honorable to speak into these views as they've come through.
You know, I think I entirely agree together with them, because those are issues, concerns about an ordinary person. Right. And of course, I definitely agree, like the President's strong message yesterday when we were at Parliament. He had actually highlighted and said that, please, you members of Parliament and ministers, please, this time is Chisanja of no sleep. He wants members of Parliament to be on ground in the constituencies and engage with the local people. Now, when you're engaging with the local people, he had actually even said that, please, write to the chiefs of different sub-counties and have regular meetings together with them. Track all government programs and be always together with them. There you are able to get analytical information which is actually affecting people. That, of course, did not only stop on members of parliament, but he also stretched to the ministers and said that if he finds out that a minister is not close to the local wananchi, then he would even take an upper hand of sacking the minister. Now that message is very important, that we have tended to carry status of being called honorable, and you even begin, oh, right honorable, or whatever status we may be, and you even fail to be inaccessible to the people who sent you or whom you are supposed to do their work. The fact here is that when you are elected as a minister, or not be appointed as a minister, or when you're elected as a member of parliament,
yeah,
you are custodians of the local community. If you're a custodian of a local community, then you need to have proper statistics of what challenges are affecting the people that you are a custodian to. If you don't have information in regard to what you had highlighted earlier before, that issues about health services, which hospital needs beds, drugs, which roads need to be repaired, which areas need to have electricity, and then which schools are in a deplorable state, and then you are saying you are honorable, then you are not worth to be honorable if you don't have information. The other factor, of course, which needs us to look into is to understand the population that we are having. Because if you are a member of parliament and you don't know how many people are you representing in your own constituencies, how many households are in a dire state, or sometimes like when you talk about water, where some areas may not be having enough water, and then the other ones, of course, are issues concerning about different diseases. Like now, currently, we have an outbreak of Ebola, which has come in. We need to get down to the ground and sensitize the local community about the dangers. You work together with the officials of Ministry of Health and sensitize the population about the dangers of Ebola, so that the population is able to know. If there is any outbreak in your particular area, you should be able to share the statistics and you bring it. That, of course, takes me back to my earlier position, saying that what has become more of a challenge of us is lack of research information that we are supposed to address and bring it out to the August House, or to bring it to the executive. We don't have that. But in line with that, as we talked about what most of those other people highlighted and brought it out, there are things, of course, as we talk about the growing population, that we need to bring it. But of course, these are things which bring out the day-to-day standards of living. The president, in his message, has always showed us in his speeches. His speeches now has ended from paper to showing the practical video things. Like he can say in his speech, please, can we watch what this other farmer has testified in regard to a particular project which he started. There are people who have gone into agriculture, where people are growing coffee, and apart from coffee, there are others, of course, the 4-acre models, where you're also having your cows and then maybe some food crops and whatsoever, and others are rearing, of course, chicken and all that. And people are giving testimonies to say that out of chicken, which I'm rearing maybe like around 10,000 or 20,000, I'm able to get this number of trays of eggs per day, and you're earning more than maybe 6 million shillings, or even 10 per day. Now that is the message. Now we need to sensitize the local person that except of many people sitting in the constituency waiting for these small handouts, maybe like the 2,000, which a member of parliament can come and say that, please, let me give you this as your cup of tea and whatever. And it stops there. We need to get out of that. In our last campaigns, you could move into centers and people, instead of going into their gardens to grow food for survival, but instead people are sitting in the centers. You sit in the center from morning as early as 8 o'clock or 7 a.m. to maybe even midnight without you doing anything productive. It's better that we now get down and disseminate this information which the president has given out, based on those other testimonies which many people have been giving out. That people move away from sitting in centers and then they get down to these productive things which can bring money into our pockets. Right.
Let's look at the population. 75% of Uganda's population is young people. And many times it feels like those who are in the political space, the political players, lawmakers, policy makers, leave out the narrative of understanding the person who dominates Uganda in numbers, who goes out to work every day and makes the money that pays the taxes every day. How do you think the 12th Parliament is planning to bridge that gap, connect the gap between youth, the young people, so that at the end of the day, all these narratives that talk actually makes sense to, say, a Gen Z? When it comes to farming, back then we were taught farming is the backbone of Uganda, agriculture. But for young people, if you talk about agriculture, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not relatable. It's not a language that lands. So how do you think we can see that, the 12th Parliament rather can see that young people are actually actively involved in the growth of Uganda?
I think we are having a disoriented mind, whereby that when we finish normally our studies at school, we begin focusing more of being employed into a sector which has created jobs. So you want to be employed, instead you don't want to create an employment where you should employ others. Now currently, of course, at the moment, I think government is employing roughly about 1,500,000 people countrywide. The private sector, through this industrialization, the program which the president has rolled out, is employing roughly around 2 million Ugandans. So private sector is employing a bigger number. First and foremost, I think the thing we may need to focus more is to see that we focus our attention and get rid of the white collar job thinking, where you want to be employed and you want to be in an office where there is AC and whatsoever. Work is in all types of forms. I should accept to work in any station where it falls. Because most times, as the Gen Zs, and people always have that tendency, of course, you are in an office, there is a computer, there is AC, there is breakfast being served. And that, of course, makes your mind not to think of seeing how to be more creative and innovative. Instead, you begin being retarded. Because sometimes when you get employed, you don't forget about that tomorrow there are more challenges and the world keeps revolving. And that, of course, brings in the other factor of seeing that we need to focus ourselves to see that we create more jobs by our own selves. And sometimes if we're to create jobs out of our own selves, that takes us back to the type of the syllabus, academic syllabus, which we had before, which actually affected quite a big number of us, the Gen Zs, and because you get out of university, you have spent 4 years or 3 years pursuing a degree course, but you're not able to come up with an initiative of solving a problem, or which can create a job to fit into the demanding society. But which is now, of course, changing. I think the current syllabus, as of now, is trying to change that by the time you leave senior 4, then you should be able to create something of a unique identity which can help the community. That is something which never used to exist before. So the old syllabus affected us, where we're taught about the olden histories. You cram about the French Revolution. I don't know what was it helping us with when you study about the French Revolution, the Napoleon Bonaparte, and then those kind of things. It never used to help us. But now the problems are now coming in because of the population is blossoming, it's becoming bigger. And when the population is becoming bigger, the demands also begin being bigger. So that is now coming to affect our own selves because of the type of syllabus which we used to have before. So I think from onset, we now need to focus ourselves into job creation from our own selves and employing others. Because whatever we want, as of now, we have it at play.
Right.
Number one, we have peace in the country, which would allow us to focus our minds and do anything we want and trade so freely at any time that we want. This peace is actually even allowing open market to be existing, like now in the neighboring countries. You can go, if you're a farmer who has got your cassava, or who has gotten your kitchen or your goat that you're having, there is market in the neighboring country, maybe like in South Sudan or like in Kenya, where under the East African Common Market Protocol, you can cross into those other countries and you're able to sell your products and you have your money. So that is money that we are leaving it. So the Gen Zs, of course, now needs to leave that olden mind of being employed, and instead they should begin now being creative and employ others.
All right.
The other factor is, of course, out of us, not as the Gen Zs, but of course the young people. Like the way I was telling you earlier before, the president actually highlighted, even like yesterday, he wondered why some of the young people are running even out of Uganda, and you're going into Dubai or those other Arab countries, and you're trying to seek for white collar jobs. And yet we are having an opportunity of using our own land that we have, maybe from coffee growing or rearing goats, and you are able to sell to other different neighboring countries. Then that alone would actually make you to earn more money than even what you're earning from there. I give an example, like the other day when we were trying to analyze to see that out of coffee growing, what would it benefit me if I had like about 5 to 10 acres? And you could get into calculations, and by the time when you are through with the process of coffee growing with your 5 and 10 acres, then you'd be able to earn about maybe 1 billion or 1.8 billion or 8 billion in a period of 3 years or 5 years. Now that amount of money, which when we talk about a billion or 2 billion, you can never earn it in an office.
That's true.
You get it? With the salaries we are earning of 500, 1 million and whatever, you can never earn it in an office. But you can be able to get it from these programs which government has initiated, only that we are just focusing ourselves to think about the white collar jobs. You don't want to become dirty. Right. So that is where the challenge is coming.
Indeed. Now our time is fast spent, but Honorable, allow me ask, what political environment do you think the 12th Parliament is going to reflect?
The political environment, of course, we are under multi-party democracy, and that is something which has been established by law under the 1995 Constitution. We have the NRM, of course, as of now, and we have with the majority, where I belong myself. And then, of course, we have the opposition, of course, which has got other attachments of the UPC, the NOP, and then the DP, and so many other things. Here is about numbers, and the numbers normally command, even in terms of debate and whatsoever. Uganda, like the way we said, is a peaceful country. When we talk about the political environment, the same way the president has nurtured the country to a peaceful country from the time it began, because his issue was not about destroying Uganda, but it was about stabilizing the country. And sometimes when you're building the country, you fix things one by one until you achieve to the topmost level. What sometimes, of course, brings in a problem, when you're trying to do something productive, and then there's another person who's coming to make it dirty or to look it bad. I can give an example. If you are a cook and you're cooking at home, if you're in the kitchen and I leave you to concentrate to bring out the best food by one individual, then the food that will be served in the plate will be nice food. But if you're having like about 5 different cooks, you have come, you have added salt, another one also comes and adds salt, the third one comes, adds salt. At the end of the day, you will find that the food is unconsumable and uneatable. The political environment, of course, which I'm trying to bring in as of here, is that the team who are in NRM need to continue supporting the president's programs.
On that note,
the other one, of course, is that the people who are in opposition, because we belong to Uganda, we need to support the president or the government's programs. You don't need to oppose it.
All right.
You are only supposed to do the other factors of the oversight role, where you come in to supervise and question where things went wrong.
Indeed. In the name of politics of numbers, as indeed we begin to even close the conversation, will it be possible, shall we see the 12th Parliament evidently criticize where the ruling government is going wrong?
Now, definitely, they will do it, because out of our 3 key duties that we do in Parliament, legislation and oversight role, and of course, when you're doing the oversight role and you find that there is an error somewhere, will you keep quiet out of it? You have to mention it. But of course, like the way we do under the NRM, we normally do it in a civilized way, that you don't speak out of proportion. We normally have caucuses where we sit as a team. Caucuses have been divided into regions, and that you are able to harmonize your position, not as you as an individual, but you speak as a team and you agree in one common position. Sometimes it becomes a bit outrageous when you begin being a player of your own instead of you being a team member.
Right.
Yes.
Allow me peruse through some of the questions and views that have come through as we close. It's such an avalanche. I wish, Honorable, we had more time with you, because there's a lot that is coming through. But let me try to chew on them in just a minute. Members of Parliament are not studying, debating and passing laws that promote good governance, protect human rights and align the country's social and economic goals. National budget should be reviewed to ensure public funds are distributed fairly and responsibly. Term limits and age limits should be regulated to ensure peaceful transitions of leadership. This is Walter in Gulu. And Honorable, given the 12th Parliament's mandate to drive prosperity and improve service delivery, what concrete mechanisms will be put in place to monitor and ensure that funds allocated for health, education and infrastructure in hard-to-reach districts actually reach the intended facilities? Within the first year, Dakasi in Nsambia. Opio Peter from Kalakit district, the best is to come to the grassroots to find out the needs, then prioritize. Good morning, Julie. I'm following from Bukwo. This is Ole Kaptang. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for having mispronounced your name in the first place. Honorable, Uganda's parliament is about the same size as that of USA and India, which have a much bigger population, taking up a bulk of resources that would have been for service delivery. So I don't expect anything new from Parliament, maybe allowances for MPs. This is Timothy in Kampala. And that's a fact. Okay, you say that we expected nothing as usual. All right, good morning. Good morning. Madam, thank you for the program. This is Mukisa Pius, Youth Chairperson, Lugazi Central Division. The bad thing with that MPs do is they are there for their personal interests. Why do they not increase the salaries of MPs of Parliament? What I know is it's hard to fight corruption in Parliament. And the Honorable in studio is to help us and table for us youth leaders. We're also in need of her. Anyways, I wish I could comprehend it as quickly as possible due to time, but allow me end it here. One of the things I would say that I look forward to seeing in the 12th Parliament, Honorable, is quorum. Many bills are passed when members of Parliament are not seated in there. And it's just a number of them representing and having a whole bill passed into a law. And before you know it, the court brings it back or cancels it because of the fact that that sitting lacked quorum. What are your parting shots, Honorable?
First and foremost, I must tell the viewers who are watching us that this 12th Parliament is going to deliver to the best expectations of all Ugandans. Number one, we are there to support the NRM manifesto and also to support the message the President has given. Well, we shall also be there to support the interest of the local people who voted us and brought us, because remember, we are here on a contract of 5 years. So the 5 years has got to be delivered not just by sitting or being absent in Parliament, but to the best expectations to all Ugandans. The second thing, of course, I want to assure the viewers is that this Parliament will deliver to the best expectation. Under the leadership of the Right Honourable Oboth and TT, who were actually elected by yesterday, these are seasoned, well-known lawyers by profession. I'm quite sure that even the quality of debate is going to change to more of researched information than just an ordinary talking. Yes, that's true. Secondly, of course, the other thing, of course, is the trust. Of course, the trust, you have already given us the trust. Like the way I'd say that we are the custodians of the local population. When you're a custodian of the local population, we don't expect to embarrass you who are our voters, but we need to make sure that we give you the best smile that you need as always.
All right. Looking forward to the next 5 years. We bring this conversation to a close as we've been looking at expectations and priorities that we look forward to in the 12th Parliament, which started officially with its first sitting yesterday. What will the next 5 years look like? We await. Or what should the next 100 days, the first 100 days of the 12th Parliament look like? Our eyes are on that August House. For now, for God and my country, be blessed.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
Are you looking for a home away from home? Then this is the place for you. My name is Chini Kaji, and welcome to Hotel Le Confidential.
With 84 comfortable rooms where you can relax and feel safe. Each room has a lovely view of green vegetation, Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and a tasty breakfast.
Children can have fun at our kids water park and our kids play area. You can also enjoy our world-class health club, spa, sauna, gym, boutique, and sky blue swimming pool.
Thank you for choosing Hotel Confidential, where every stay is unforgettable. Come and stay in comfort, right at home, today, tomorrow, and always.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a deep